Okay, good morning students. இன்னைக்கு நம்ம பார்க்க வேண்டியது என்ன அப்படின்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா artificial methods. Here you have to study what are the reproduction techniques involved in an artificial manner. You have to see one by one. Apart from the above mentioned natural methods, apart from the natural methods of vegetative reproduction, a number of methods are mostly used in agriculture and horticulture to propagate the plants from their pods. That is called artificial method. Such methods are said to be the artificial propagation. Some of the artificial propagation methods have been used by man for a long time and are called conventional methods. These are called conventional method. Conventional methods na பாரம்பரிய முறைகள் அப்படின்னு நம்ம சொல்லலாம். So nowadays technology is being used for propagation to produce large number of plants in a short period of time. Such methods are said to be modern methods. So first one, what are the conventional methods? Common methods of conventional propagations are cutting, grafting and layering. You have to see one by one what is cutting, what is grafting, what is layering. So you have to see what do you mean by the cutting. Cutting is the method of producing a new plant by cutting by the plant parts such as root, stem and leaf from the parent plant. The cut part is placed in a suitable medium for their growth. It produces root and also grows into a new plant. Depending upon the part used, it is called as root cutting, malus, stem cutting, hibiscus bougainvillea and moringa, and leaf cutting, begonia and brayphyllum. Stem cutting is widely used for propagation. So these are the various cuttings only used in that stem, leaf and root. Some of them are. The next one is grafting. In this parts of two different plants are joined so that they continue to grow as one plant. Of the two plants, the plant which is mostly contact with the soil is called stalk and the plant used for grafting is called scion. So examples are citrus, mango and apple. There are different types of grafting based on the method of uniting the scion and stalk. They are bud grafting, approach grafting and tongue grafting and ground grafting and wedge grafting. There are bud grafting, approach grafting and tongue grafting and ground grafting and wedge grafting also used in this. These 5 techniques are mostly used for this grafting techniques. One by one you have to see. First one is the first bud grafting. In that bud grafting, a T-shaped incision is mostly made in the stalk and the bark is lifted. The scion bud with little wood is placed in the incision beneath the bark and properly bandaged with a tap. That is called bud grafting. The next one is approach grafting. In this method, both the scion and stalk remain rooted. The stalk is grown in a pot and it is brought close to the scion. Both of them should have the same thickness. A small slice is cut from both and the cut surfaces are brought near and tied together and held by a tap. After 1 to 4 weeks, the tip of the stalk and base of the scion are cut off and detached and grown in a separate pot. Okay, the next one is tongue grafting. A scion and stalk having the same thickness is cut obliquely and the scion is fit into the stalk and bound with the tape. That is called tongue grafting. Then ground grafting. Here, when the stalk is large in size, scions are cut into wedge shape and are inserted and the slits are cleft of the stalk and fixed in a position using graft wax. That is called ground grafting. The next one is fifth one is wedge grafting, the last one. In this method, a slit is made in the stalk or in the bark is cut. A twig of scion is inserted and tightly bound so that the cambium of the two is joined together. This is called as a wedge graft is there. The next technique is layering. First one is grafting, second one is the layering. In this method, the stem of the parent plant is allowed to develop roots while still intact. When the root develops, the rooted part is cut and planted to grow as a new plant. Example, Ixora and Jasmine. Here there are two types it will present. First one is mount layering, another one is air layering. Mount layering and air layering. Some of the few types of layering also there. Okay, here you can see the grafting techniques. First one is the T-shaped insertion, it will occur. Then bud insertion, it will occur in this first one. Then approach grafting, here there is another branch, it will attached with this branch, that is called approach grafting. In a dunk grafting, you can see the diagram what type of approach it will present in this grafting. Tank grafting is there. The next one is the stalk and scion is there, joined together with the help of this scion and stalk. Ground grafting is there. Okay, next one is wedge grafting. With the help of this scion and stalk, the wedge shape is produced and it will attached with this one and tied. This is type of wedge grafting is there. Then here you go for mount layering. Here in this method, the plants mostly having a flexible branches also there. The lower branch with the leaves is bent to the ground and part of the stem is buried in the soil and the tip of the branch is exposed above the soil level. After the roots emerge from the part of the stem buried in the soil, a cut is made in parent plant so that the buried part grow into a new plant. This is a type of techniques mostly involved in a layering, that is called mount layering. Another one is, here you can see the mount layering techniques. There is a diagram. Then bark tissue removed, there is a air layering, moist layering and polythene tied to retain the moisture. Then air layering. In this method, the stem is griddled at nodal region and hormones are applied to this region which promotes rooting. This portion is covered with damp or moist soil using a polythene sheet. Roots emerge in these branches after 2 to 4 months. Such branches are removed from the parent plant and grown in a separate pot or ground. That is called air layering. Okay. What are the advantages and disadvantages of conventional methods? First one is advantages. The plants produced are genetically uniform in condition. Through a conventional method, the plants are produced. These are identical, genetically uniform in nature. There is no genetic variation occur in the plants. So many plants can be produced quickly by this method. Here, number of plants are produced quickly by this method. Some plants produce little or no seeds in this. In others, the seeds produced do not germinate. In such cases, plants can be produced in a short period by these methods. Okay. Some plants can be propagated more economically by vegetative propagation. Example, Solanum tuberosum. Two different plants with desirable characters such as disease resistance and high yield can be grafted and grown as a new plant with the same desirable characters. Okay, next one is what are the disadvantages of conventional methods? Use of virus infected plants as parents produces. Viral infected new plants are not produced. Here, use of virus infected plants as parents produces only viral infected new plants. Vegetative structures used for propagation are bulky and so they are difficult to handle and store in a nature. Okay, these are the disadvantages of these techniques. Okay, next one is sexual reproduction. Here in a previous class, reproduction in lower organisms like algae, bryophytes are mostly discussed above. In a sexual reproduction, it involves production of fusion of male and female gametes. The former is called gametogenesis and the latter in the process is called fertilization. Let us recall the sexual reproduction in algae and bryophytes. They reproduce by the production of gametes, which may be motile or non-motile depending upon the species. The gametic fusion is of three types: isogamy, anisogamy, and oogamy. In algae, external fertilization it will takes place, whereas in the higher plants only internal fertilization it will occur. Okay. Then there is a structure of flowers. A flower is viewed in multi-dimensional perspective from time immemorable. It is an inspirational tool for the poets. It is a decorative material for all the celebration. In Tamil literature, the 5 lands are denoted by different flowers. The flags of some countries are embroidered with flowers. Flowers are used in the preparation of perfumes. For a morphologist, a flower is a highly condensed shoot meant by reproduction. As you have already learnt about the parts of the flower in unit 2nd of class 11th. Let us recall the parts of the flower. A flower possesses 4 holes: calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. Okay, here are the androecium, gynoeciums are essential part of this flower. Essential organs. The process or changes involved in sexual reproduction of higher plants include 3 stages. They are free fertilization, fertilization and post-fertilization changes. Let us discuss these events in detail later next class. Okay, you can see the what are the parts present in a flower. First one is stigma. Stigma is there, and style, stigma and then style. Then stamens also there, and petile. Stamens, below that stamens there is a filament is also there. Then petile, there is corolla. Then sepal, that is calyx, and also the ovule, ovary and ovule also present in this region. And pedicel, there is a poo kambun solluvom, there is a pedicel region, it will present. Okay, these are the parts of the flower. Okay, thank you students. Next class we can see the free fertilization occur in the flowers. Okay, thank you students.